Hello and welcome to the video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Shadow Walrein in the Open Great League. And this Pokemon recently got a little bit of a hype again. This Pokemon is definitely more common than it has been in quite a few seasons, which is quite interesting, as it's very similar to Dugong, which is a little bit bulkier, but doesn't have the great pacing of Icicle Spear here. We only need 4 Force moves every single time in order to get to the move. Also, Powder Snow is better than Ice Shard, for example, for the Dugong, or yeah, here for the Walrein. But of course, yeah, the main benefit of having Dugong over Walrein is the pure bulk and the access to Icy Wind, which Walrein doesn't have. But Walrein has Earthquake, which is a bit worse compared to Drill Run. But generally speaking, a very similar Pokemon. But yeah, Walrein is the more aggressive one, while the Dugong is the more passive one. So it depends on really what kind of team you want to run. So also for this team, if you don't have Walrein, you can use Dugong for this team, because this team was actually really good. I would really recommend you to give this team a try there as well. And especially Drapion here, for example, look at this Pokemon. It's going to be able to go for the full farm. Now, a little bit annoying that we have to use the shield here as well. But in the back, it's going to be Diggersby, and I'm actually quite happy that I use the shields now, because now I'm going to be able to go for the Awkward Tail spam. I get a ton of damage in. I can swap out into my Wigglytuff, and I just basically have to get rid of the final shield from the opponent, because I know that I win the CMP tie. I know that I do a lot of damage here as well. I know that the Swift is going to do a lot of damage, and I just hope that the opponent decides to use a shield here, which they don't, which is very smart by them. But I still think we're going to be fine, because another Scorching Sand is not going to take us out, and this is going to now allow us to go for the full farm down and knock them out, and we can move on to the next opponent. Next up here, we're going to have the Annihilape against us, which is a pretty bad lead, but we can swap out into our own, Drapion. They swap out into the Azumarill to catch the Crunch, which is totally fine by me. They're going to get the defense drop onto themselves as well, which is going to be great, because like this, we're going to be able to go for another Crunch, do some solid damage against the opponent, and drop the defense even further, which is going to be great. I'm actually deciding to use a shield here now, because now at this point, I'm going to be able to realign myself, guaranteed, even if I just go for the full farm or something. And realignment is key here, because we're going to have then the Wigglytuff aligned against the opponent's other Pokemon, forgot the name of it, the Annihilape. And so we are always going to be in a way better matchup than what we had before they actually swap out of here, which means there should be switch locked at this point. Allow me to go for the Crunch, I can swap out straight away as well, and we can say goodbye to that Annihilape, because this is only a Rage Fist as far as I know. Or an Ice Punch, okay, that's also fine. Definitely not a close combat, and with that we're going to be able to get rid of them. But they're going to have the Drapion in the back, and that's going to be a bit tricky. I hope they still survive a hit here, otherwise it's down to our, what's called, down to our Walrein. But we still survive the hit, so this allows us to go for a Swift here. Swift is coming through, getting the shield, and as we will see, we're going to try to go for another Icicle Spear. They catch the move onto the Azumarill, well played by the opponent. I'm going to go for the full Nut Charge, giving me one free bubble. And this free bubble might actually come in clutch, because what we'll see here is one Crunch coming through, but I'm actually going to be able to outspeed them and lose the CMP tie. Yeah. Unfortunate here, well played by the opponent. I actually completely forgot about the Awkward Tail. Well played, and we can move on to the next opponent here. It's going to be the Palkia in the lead. That is going to be a Pokemon where Icicle Spear is going to be doing quite enough damage, and the cool thing is we're going to outspeed the opponent here as well. Means the worst scenario is basically here that we're going to lose one shield, and the opponent loses 2 shields, and they can realign. We can also both use 1 shield, and I'm going to be able to realign as well. There's nothing really that's bad here for me. So now we have a shield advantage. We have the Wigglytuff, goodbye Palkia. Doesn't really matter what they had in terms of energy. But now it's down to Drapion against the Corviknight, which is not as ideal for me. But I can go for a Crunch, and this is going to weaken them quite a bit. Getting them into range where another Crunch is going to be enough to knock them out, most likely. Which is going to be quite impactful and very useful for us as well. Because we kind of need to get rid of this Pokemon. They're going to go for the Sky Attack, which is fine by me. I can go for another Crunch here, and at this point it should be enough damage, right? Like, it should be. It is not, but a one more fast move is enough, and as we will see in the back, there's going to be a Ferrothorn, and we're in a very okay position. But if their Flash Cannon might be a bit of a trickier one, because Flash Cannon would allow them to just mostly one-shot our Wigglytuff, and so I'm going to try to catch the move. I can catch the move, and so at this point it doesn't matter if you have Flash Cannon or not, because you have to go for some harder hitting moves. It's going to be a Thunder here from the opponent anyway. We're going to get a ton of energy, and we can even go for the Icy Wind, which is going to now connect against the opponent. This is going to allow us to get the KO, and we can move on to the next opponent. Galarian, Corsola, and we're going to have two great answers for you in the back. We're going to have the Drapion where they swap out straight away into the Diggersby. This is going to be a matchup where I have the Awkward Tail for them. 3 Awkward Tails is enough to knock them out, but of course they're going to be able to one-shot me with a Scorching Sand, so I have to be a bit mindful of that at least. But they could also always go for the baits here, so maybe they're going to go for the bait. Let's find out if they're going to do that or not. We will let the move... Oh, we're actually going to use a shield here. Against the Scorching Sand, so I guess that was the right call. I can go for another Awkward Tail. That's going to force the shield from the opponent again. Again, I kind of would love to realign myself. That would be really good for me. I am one fast move away of really getting to the move here. And I decided to use another shield. Scorching Sand is coming through again, and this is going to be interesting. Can we actually knock them out here in time? It looks like a CMP time. It might be a CMP time with a Fire Punch, though. We have to see on what the opponent does. They actually let the move go through, and all of a sudden we can realign ourselves. We have now Drapion and doing damage against the Wigglytuff. We can get our Ice type up against the Wigglytuff, which at least is a neutral matchup. And then we still have the Ghost type against our normal type. And this is looking really, really solid. Like, honestly, the way this team plays is just really, really good. And we will see here that we're gonna no-shield this move. It's going to be the Swift, of course, coming through. We don't have a shield anyway, so, like, shockingly that we no-shield it here. But Icicle Spear is gonna get the shield. And it's down now to if we can still get to the move. And honestly, Walrein is literally taking them all down here right now. We can swap out, and now it is going to be Wigglytuff against the Corsola, which is, generally speaking, a good matchup. I have to hope that I'm not going to get two-shot by the rock move of Power Gem, which I won't, and that's going to be fine, because that means we should be able to win the battle, because we're going to be able to even go for the Icy Wind now, doing some neutral damage, while debuffing the opponent's attack. With this, they are never going to be able to one-shot me here now with the next move. So they always have to go for another one afterwards, which I just kind of use as a way of farming down. We can move on to the next opponent. Ariados and Lee. That's going to be a very neutral matchup. We're going to be able to go for the swap out into the Drapion and try to catch a Trailblaze. Didn't work out for me. But I still have a move stored, and I'm still going to be in a position where I can at least play around a bit. It's not ideal because, this Pokemon here, the opponent's, the opponent's Ariados is going to be very difficult for our last Pokemon, which is the Wigglytuff, which is going to not enjoy any kind of poison type boy. But we're going to get the Sand Slash, and so we're going to have two Pokemon here already that are weak to Fire type Pokemon, which I find quite weird because I feel like a lot of people don't really they underestimate Fire type Pokemon in the current meta. That's what I want to say. I would assume that there is going to be something like an Azumarill in the back. Azumarill would make the most amount of sense, as Ariados is one of the best answers for especially Grass-type Pokemon. Same goes for the Sandslash. But Sandslash has a great synergy with the Azumarill, and Azumarill at least can still deal with Fire-type Pokemon. But it's going to be a Fire-type Pokemon in the back, which I find kind of ironic. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. I actually did the battles, by the way, the last time Great League was available, where I also already had Legends, so yeah, they're a bit away, so I don't actually know what's happening in the games, which I feel like is kind of interesting as well for me. So, interesting lead, like good lead for us. They swap out into the Feraligatr, and honestly, this is the thing here as well with this matchup. Yeah, we're going to still have to use a shield here, which is totally okay. And if we swap out fast, we can get to the Swift here in time, which we are going to be able to do here. And this should allow us to just go for the full farm after they're going to go for this next move. And so we're going to be fine here. This is going to not knock us out. We're going to be able to just chill, knock them out here, and have both shields, both with one shield down basically. In comes Diggersby. I can try to go for an Icy Wind. The opponent is going to actually allow me to do that, which is going to be lovely because now they're going to be in range for one Weather Ball. Or also very soon for one Awkward Tail. And that is quite a risk that the opponent takes here. Especially swapping out onto the Corsola, it's going to allow me to go into the Drapion, which is just so good right now. Like, Drapion is the best Pokemon in the current meta, the most used Pokemon in the top meta as well for the tournaments. So yeah, Drapion is just so good. Which does make sense. Again, like, this Pokemon is only a singular weakness, which is going to be, of course, the ground typing. And there are basically no good ground type Pokemon. There are a lot of good ground type Pokemon, but all of them are going to be weak to the Awkward Tail, which is the main benefit of this Pokemon, which makes it so good. Speaking of, all of them are going to be weak. Like, the Crixire is the one exception, I guess. But again, for this one, still a Crunch going to hit quite hard, and you would need to put a Mud Bomb on this boy. So I'm not too sure if people are actually going to do that. Here we're going to have Stone Edge coming through against our Ice Boy, which is going to be okay. We're going to use a charge move here as well. The Icicle Spear is going to get the shield from the opponent, and we will see Crixire launching up another charge move. It is going to be the Stone Edge here again, and we are shields down, but we have energy. And we are going to be able to align ourselves accordingly as the opponent makes a big mistake. This is game over. I don't really have to talk too much about it anymore. At least as far as I can see it, it's game over. Maybe I'm actually wrong with it. We will find out shortly. But yeah, we're going to have alignment now. And alignment is key. And especially if they're going to allow me to do exactly this here, it's going to be even worse for the opponent because now I can go for another crunch. And this might even debuff them. It doesn't. So we can go for the Icicle Spear, which is going to be fine because I'm fairly certain I'm going to be able to force the opponent to go for a charge move, which they wanted to do here as well. It is going to be the Scald coming through, which is not going to two-shot us. We can knock them out and we can move on to the next opponent. 3 more battles to go. Great lead for us, and we're gonna see a Pokemon coming in here that we really like to see, which is the Feraligatr, which doesn't like to see our charge moves or our Wigglytuff, generally speaking. So we should be able to outspeed them here, which is quite nice for us, because we were fast at swapping out. We will have the Swift coming in, we're gonna be able to get the KO. And in the back there is a Talonflame or Lurkin, that is not ideal. But then again, we can go for a Swift, and while they get a ton of energy, at least we're still not going to be in a position where we're gonna guarantee lose. They're gonna go for Charge Move, or let them do that, let them knock me out. No matter what they're gonna go for, they're always gonna knock me out. It's gonna be Flame Charge, which is, I guess, the worst possible move for me. And so I'm going to be forced to use a shield here, and I do think that's going to be basically game over against me here already, because they're going to outspeed me. They're going to get to the next charge move after one more fast move, and that is just not really ideal. And as we will see here, they're going to knock me out. It's down to Walrein now. Can Walrein win the entire battle here? I doubt it, I would say. I think I actually could have maybe tried to go for the full farm down there, but that's okay. Icicle Spear coming through, going to get the knockout. In comes Donphan. Okay, we're gonna get the knockout here as well. Can we get a triple sweep with the Walrein? That would be hilarious. We're gonna get the... Oh wait, this was already the last Pokemon. Yeah, we won with Walrein there. That is madness. Moving on, we're going to have here Walrein against Yugon, which is quite an hilarious matchup because that's like the two Pokemon that basically do the exact same. And I'm kind of curious on who is going to be able to win this one. They're going to be able to outspeed me here, and as we will see, 2 drill runs are actually not enough, which is kind of hilarious because it's gonna give us way more play in how to use shields, because we guarantee win the 0 shield scenario like this, and that's exactly what we're gonna go for. They go for another drill run, we're gonna go for another earthquake, and now they can decide, do they want to just play it out, or do they want to give me a shield? They want to give me a shield, which I kinda want to retaliate with, going to my Drapion here, getting up to 2 Aqua Tails against the opponent's other Pokemon here, which is gonna be the Marowak. Marowak is gonna go away here as well with that Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail gonna do a ton of damage, like 60%, oh actually more against the opponent. Can go for another one, and this is going to either get the KO or gonna get, oh we're gonna get the KO, which is kinda nice, and we still have one more fast move until I get to another one, which I sadly don't reach. But it's okay, because we're still going to have our Wigglytuff, and Wigglytuff is gonna be quite nice here, because they're of course gonna go for the Icy Wind, and we still have the option to get rid of that debuff with our other Pokemon here with the Walrein. But then I think I messed it up. I should just try to catch a move at least, and that was a bit silly that I didn't do that. I should went for 5 fast moves instead, and then try to catch, but I didn't, and this is going to lose me the battle. And we can now move on to the final battle of today's video, where we're going to have the Azumarill against an Elite. We're going to have the Annihilape here, which is sadly gonna go up against our Drapion and not against our other Pokemon, our Wigglytuff, but it's going to be okay because the close combat is going to now connect. We have the Wigglytuff coming through. This is going to allow us to get the full farm on, and the Azumarill comes back in. So that means there should be still kind of weak to Wigglytuff in the back. And let's see on how this is gonna go. We're gonna swap out straight away into our Walrein here. We try to catch a move. It might be the Ice Beam. It's very likely gonna be the play rough, and so we decide to use a shield against it. Not knowing what we're gonna have here lurking in the back. It's going to be the Coastland. Honestly, I see some play here, and I do think it's best for me and my best interest basically to use this shield. I do think it's best for me to use the shield because now I can swap out into my Wigglytuff after this next Icicle Spear. I keep the energy, I keep my Walrein, which does the most amount of fast move and charge move pressure. I can get 1 extra fast move, so I have at least a charge move stored, which is going to be great for me as well. But also again, gonna be able to get a free fast move in here. I swap out into the Azumarill, and honestly, I'm looking at a position that I really like, because now I have the Swift coming through. They're still gonna be forced to knock us out with the Azumarill, and we have them kind of low. And so as long as I don't have basically 100 energy here, we should be kind of okay going for the full farm down. But I'm forced to go for a charge move here because I think they have some energy. Maybe I could have went for the full farm down. It would have been kind of risky. Now I have to go for the Earthquake. Can I reach it in time? I can reach it in time. Is it going to be enough to knock out the opponent's Galarian Corsola? It is, and honestly, Walrein and this team was absolutely fantastic. I would really recommend you give it a try. But yeah, those Pokemon are definitely very much meta, and I will see you then. Bye bye.